Namaste. With the blessings of Sri Mahavallabha Ganapati and all other devatas, the Hindu Temple Society of North America welcomes everyone to this unique learning series. This will be the session number 73. Special swagatam to our guest. Today we have two guest speakers. The first one to speak will be Srimati Sri Samvardhini, and the second speaker will be Pandit Sri Mahesh Shastri ji. Let me render a prayer before we commence the session. Om Sadha Shiva Samarambham Sri Kantacharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vandhe Guru Paramparam Shivatanaya Varishtam Sarva Kalyana Murtim Parashu Kamalahastam Bhushitam Modhakena Aruna Kusumamalam Vyala Lambodharam Tam Mama Hridaya Nivasam Sri Ganesham Namami Hri Om. Thank you. So today's session has got two topics, Sthala and Tirtha. So we will discuss on as the topic goes, the significance and essentials of Sthala and Tirtha. So we will begin with the first topic of Sthala. Our scriptures insist on four aspects: Murti, Sthala, Tirtha, and Vriksha. Our Puranas gives references on installation of Murti, or the Murti has got self-installed by Devas or Rishis, saints, and Asuras, and the Swayambhu Murtis, etc., are called as Murtis. And for example, if I had to say, you take the temple Rameshwaram or Srirangam, where in Rameshwaram, Lord Rama said to have done prayer to Lord Shiva. He is the one who installed. And similarly, you take in Kanchipuram, goddess Parvati is said to have created a Shivalinga using the river sand by her own hand. And similarly, sage Agastya have installed several Shivalingas. Similarly, Rishis and Asuras who had mystic powers in making Banalingas. Okay, Banalingas was not crafted by them. No, it has come by their power, mystic mantra power. Similarly, we have experienced like floating lingas and things like that. So we were also blessed with the natural salagrama lingas. Okay, so they are all the murtis which are worth for our prayers and worship. And still we are preserving that culture and doing pujas happening even today. Similarly, our scriptures also glorify several miracles which were occurred at various locations, and its significance, the prayashchittas and remedies for doshas that could be cured from these places. Our ancestors have experienced those miracles and revealed the truth to us through Puranas. And these sites were identified by kingdoms and the rulers of those times, and they have built temples in each of these locations. So these locations are identified as that sacred sthala. The sthala is nothing but the site where the rulers have built a temple around that important locations. Next, like I said, it's Murti, Sthala, then Tirtha, which is nothing but sacred water bodies, which includes like river Ganga or Ganges, Yamuna, Saraswati, Godavari, Kaveri, Tungabhadra, Krishna, like that, several sacred rivers, which are blessed rivers, so known as Tirthas. And coming to the next thing is like Vrikshas, which are sacred sites located located specifically on mountains and in forest areas. So the temples or Devasthana or the Sthala, which we refer it, has served the great purpose of being religious centers, apart from it being the cultural and educational centers. The traditions and customs are very unique to each of these sthala or to each of these shrines. Tradition varies from shrine to shrine or sthala to sthala, temple to temple. The amplification of temple complexes in terms of the visibility, the cognitive power, which is signified by its Garbhagraha or Brahmasthanam or Molasthanam or the Sthala Vriksham or the Tirtham, whatever it is. And it's also important that these temples or Sthala should be preserved and maintained to sustain those specific energy and vibration that radiates today, and it continues to uh, vibrate those energies. So we'll be talking about the architecture, the sculpture, the iconography, and what kind of natural life that it has, and we need to extend its longevity appropriately. To impress upon these aspects, let me first invite Ms. Sri Samvardhini, who hail from the Indian traditional artisan family lineage. She is an expert in the said field. Apart from the iconography, temple ornament design, human resources, and women empowerment arena, of course, she had been initiated with Sri Vidya mantras and so on. And her guru is Dr. Sri Dakshinamurti Stapati. She lives in Chennai, Tamil Nadu state. We are eager to hear from Sri Samvardhini on significance and essential of temple architecture, focusing on those thalas and shrines. I request Samvardhini to take the stage, and over to Sri Samvardhini. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction and also for the opportunity. And it was a wonderful explanation by you on the vrikshas, salas, and shilpas. So, as we talk, temples are not just the premises which is built for the worship. Beyond that, it is a premises which brings in the cosmic vibration, and that's how it is so much significant. Let's dive deep into it. I'll just present my slides. So, temple architecture, how it is unique and significant, and how it brings in the cosmic vibration is what we are going to see now. So, what are the topics we are going to talk about today? Are the styles of the temple architecture, and let's dive a little more deep into the Dravidian, that is South Indian architecture, which is complex architecture of all the three architectures. And we'll touch a little bit of Vastu Veda, which makes the temple as a cosmic vibration place. And obviously, we have to talk about the materials used and significance. And then comes the chariots, which is a similar representation of the temple architecture, but used as a bhaganas of the deities. And then the technology and tradition, how the tradition is preserved through the technology. So these are the topics we are going to talk about today. Let's talk about the styles and the parts of different temple architecture. The styles are Nagara, Dravida, Veshara. Nagara is the North Indian style of temple architecture, which is a structure where the shikara and the mandapas are the preliminary structures of the temple architecture. Then comes the Vesara, which is the middle part of the temple architecture in the Indian. This is predominantly of the Radha style, Pancharadha, Triradha, and Saptaradha. The dimension will be have the depression of the Radha style. So this is also explained as a cultural expansion of the southern and northern part picture. Then comes the Dravida style with the South Indian style. South Indian temple architecture is a complex temple architecture. It also represents the seven chakras of your body. It goes from Gopuram, Balipidam, Dwajastambam, Mandapams, Vagana Mandapams, Mahamandapam, Vimanams. Vimanam is the structure built on top of the Garbhagraha, and Gopuram is the entry point of the temple. When it comes to Vesara, it has the Sikara, Gopuram, Vimana, and then the brackets and the pillars. Pillars are the most predominant feature of the Vesara style of architecture. Adhishtanam is something the base which is shown outside the earth structure. Adhisthana will be the common structure of all these three styles of architecture. So let's dive deep into the South Indian temple architecture. So when it comes to the South Indian Dravidian architecture, it is of a complex structures with intricate carvings and different parts. The parts are uh, easily depicted by the kings who ruled the places. So it starts with the Upapidam, which is the base, which is shown above the earth. And then comes the Adhishtanam. Adhishtanam is the next part, which will be the replication and the depiction of the king who ruled. For example, if it is Pallavas, Pandyas, then the Pandyas fish kind of their flags will be the representation of the Adhishtana. Then comes the wall part, which is the pillar. Even the wall part is differentiated to two parts, which is the kosha, where the main deity is placed, and the Maharatorana, where the deity's crown kind of structure, which is represented as the aura of the deity, is placed. And then comes the Prastara. Prastara is also divided into Kabuta, which basically created shelter for the birds, pigeons, etc. And then the base structures. Then on top of it, then comes the Hara, which creates the intricate carvings of the kings who ruled the spaces, and also it represents the deity, main deity, and the story associated with the main deity. Then the tire will be differentiated into Egatalam, Tritalam, Dvetalam, which is basically the single tire, double tire, and three tires. Here we see as a double tire one, and it has the neck part, the head part, and the final kalasham part. The neck part will be the mid part between the talam, and it rises above and rises and it reaches till the main stupi of the temple architecture. The stupi is filled with the metal kalashams or the stone kalashams as well. So the sikara, the tower, which also represents the main deity. For example, when it comes to Pallava temples usually are rock cut temples like Mahabalipuram temples. It represents the kings who ruled the region. So most of the stupi, which is the shikaram, will be representing the king and their economical and their the way they followed the religion. All those will be depicted on this area. When it comes to Chola period, it will be a multi-storied Vimanam, and it is of more than three-tier Vimanams. The monolithic Shikara is the predominant one because most of them are Saivites, and Cholas are majorly developed the Shiva worship. So the monolithic form, it already represents the linga form of the top tower. So then comes the Pandya. Pandyas morely focused on the entrances, which is the gopuram of the temple architecture. They created monumental entrances, which actually depicted the people who lived in those region in those period, so which can make a place in the history. Then comes the Vijayanagara. Vijayanagara people are morely focused on the chariot kind of temple architectures, which is mostly shown the Hampi architecture. Their pillars and music, they are kind of touched all the sastras as the depiction in the temple architecture. So they are called Provida style. What is called Provida style? The pillar will be the unique features of the temple architecture. That is mostly developed through the Vijayanagara period. Then comes the latest Nayak and Madura kind of temple architecture, kings who ruled that time period of time. There, the prakarams will be the huge roofed pathways, and the water bodies are the predominant features of those period. Like example, Madurai Meenakshi Amman temple kind of. So this is a bit more of Dravidian architecture, which is of major temple architecture, which is followed across the globe. Next comes, let's touch the Vastu Veda. As my guru says, when the inner space and the outer space of a place is resonating equally, there will be much more peace and prosperity. So this Vastu Veda is also designed with the Vastu Purusha Mandala, which actually connects the body points, chakras, etc., also with the spaces around people who live. So when it comes to Vastu Veda, there's a 5 predominant calculations which is used for the Vastu Veda, which is basically to create and enhance the cosmic vibration of the sthala. So let's start with Ayadi. Ayadi is the calculation where it increases the cosmic vibration to check the direction of the temple and also the proportions of the temple, etc. So there are various types of Ayadis. Sada Ayadi and Sodasa Ayadi will be the predominant one. Sada Ayadi will have the calculation used for the domestic purposes. For the temples, it is Sodasa Ayadi, so it is 16 grids calculation followed in the Sodas Ayadi. So the major calculation taken for is Aya, which is the income, which controls the income of the space. Vyaya, which controls the expenditure of the space. This are calculated with the energy of the direction flow. Then comes the Yoni calculation, which decides the direction of the temple, Gopuram, the passage. So actually how it is calculated, for example, Yoni, it's the perimeter of the entire temple into 3 divided by the 8 directions. So when it comes as an odd number, then it is considered to be an auspicious one. So the Yoni calculation decides the direction of the temple passages. Then also Varam and the nakshatras also taken to calculations. The nakshatra of the main deity, the nakshatra of the person who builds the donor, and the nakshatra of the place, the first letter of the place is taken for the calculation. So this is also considered to be an auspicious, inauspicious, or we have to check for the odd even numbers, how the calculations, there shouldn't be any variations much, that's kind of. Then the AMSA calculation is also there, which talks about the quality and the aesthetic feature of the temple architecture. And then the Ayu calculation, which is the expected life and the strength of the building calculation. So that is involved in the proportions as well. So Ayadi calculation is the basic calculation which we take into consideration to initiate the temple construction. Then comes the Padavinyasa rules. So Padavinyasa rules is like we divide a plot into different padas, different squares, grids, basically. And then we have the calculations of how we can build the Artha Mandapam, Garbhagraha, etc. From there are different, this plot it be divided into 2, 4, from Egapada to Dasapada. Let's say the plot is big. The Dasapada method will be followed. So there will be 100 grids into 10 into 10. So there will be 100 grids where each grid calculations will be measured and the proportions will be fixed for the ensure the vibration of the temples. So there are also schemes in the Padavinyasa rule. There are 32 kind of schemes. So how, based on the disposition of the plot, there are 32 kind of schemes. So let's say the Shakala kind of scheme is taken as a whole kind of how this whole plot will be looking as. Is this feasible for the temple architecture? And then Desya kind of schemes will talk about the regional and cultural significance of the space. And then the Bhadra kind of schemes will talk about the auspiciousness of the temple. That is how the cosmic vibration of the temples and the main deity is decided in line with the Agama Shastras. So there are also Dikbalas counted in this same that are believed to be each deity for each direction. That is also counted in this Vastu Purusha Mandala and the Padavinyasa rule. Then moves to the Brahmasthan. Brahmasthan is the first point which will be marked in the temple architecture. Brahmasthan and the line which runs through the Brahmasthan is called Brahma Sutra. So the Brahma Sutra line is basically a line which is drawn right from the center of the deity Garbhagraha and runs through the deity, and it reaches through the till the Kalasham, that's Stupi point of the temple architecture. This is also called Brahma Sutra, Brahmasthan. This is also the representation of a human body of Shushmana Nadi. 2 parallel lines will be drawn left and right to the Brahma Sutra according to the proportions. That is called Kalpura Vail in Tamil, which is the representation of Ida and Pingala Nadi of the human body. So based on these marking points, the entire temple construction begins. So the Kalparavile are the parallel lines from where the external carvings and intricate carvings will be marked. And the Brahmasthan will be the main point where the inner Garbhagraha and the structure will be formed. So that is the main Brahmasthan. Brahmasthan is the point which opens the cosmic energy of the entire temple. So that point will be a important calculation to be made by the expertise. Then comes the mana, proportions, the proportion of the temple architecture. Suppose we are creating a product or building a constructing a temple. It should be aesthetic, useful, and also it should have the cosmic vibration. So this mana and proportion talks about the height, breadth, and the circumference, the interspace between the Parivara temples. The main deity and the Parivara deities will be placed around the main deity, right? So all these comes under the proportion and mana proportion. So, for example, when the height and breadth is equal, it is aesthetically good. When the height is 1.5 times of I'm talking about the height and breadth of the main Garbhagraha and the Vimana. So if 1.5 times it is heighter than the breadth, then it is a pleasant kind of architecture. Then if it is twice, it is a gorgeous kind of architecture. If it is 1.75 times, then it is a strong kind of temple architecture. This is how the proportion plays an important aspect in bringing the strength of the building and also the pleasantness of the building, auspiciousness of the building. So then comes the chandas. Chandas is the basically chandam. It's aesthetic look of the entire temple architecture. So there are different chandas mentioned in the Vastu Vedam and the Vedic texts. We take that into account, and initially the Meru Chanda, like the mountain-like structures, which is used to create the gopurams and the vimanams, basically. Then the Kanda Meru, the split kind of Meru, which is a split mountain kind of structures, which is seen in the Thailand, Indonesia kind of architectures. Then the Pataka Chanda is a flag kind of architecture, aesthetic look, which is majorly used in the Vesara and the Nagara style. There will be one stupi kind of tower kind of stamba. These are called the Pataka styles. So these are used as a lighthouse during those days. So then comes the shushi, needle kind of, which is also used as a lighthouse on those days. So sushi kind of chandam, that is the aesthetic look. Then comes the Uttishta and the Nasta, that is the regional and cultural kind of aesthetic look, which is the depiction of the king himself there and the people who lived there and the deity associated stories. That actually kinds of break the grammars of the basic proportion, which creates a little bit of space to explore the creativity of the artisan himself. So these are the basic topics which comes under Vastu Veda. Then we can move to the materials used. So predominantly in South Indian architecture, what we use, and predominantly the materials obviously used will vary to the weather condition of the place, the regional availability of the place, all those taken into account. And those days predominantly we use stone kind of materials. Stone materials from mountain will be the good stone to be chosen, because the other which one dug out of the earth or from the shore area will not be strength enough to, and it will not be able to bear the load of the entire temple. So it will always be the mountain rock cut the stones carved out of the mountains. So then comes there is a gender to the stones, interestingly, which will be determined by the tapping sound. For example, if it gives a bronze kind of metal tapping sound when you tap on a stone, it is be considered as a male gender, so which will be used to for the male deity temples. Then comes the brass kind of sound when you tap on it. So that is questions I'll take last 5 minutes to answer or separately. Last so the female stone will be chosen as a brass kind of sound when it is tapped. That is chosen for the female deity temples. So there are neutral kind of stone as well, neutral gender stones, which is used for the pillars and the load bearing areas under the uh, Vimanam. So these are also used. The sound will be little neutral. So that is how it has been identified. Then the color of the stone is mostly black in color, and there are white, yellow, red color stones as well. Sandstone. The red stone will be more predominantly used in the North Indian style because the weather conditions of those area, this red stone will withstand much. So this materials is predominantly used as a proper material which is we can withstand the weather condition of that particular area. The color is differentiated. For example, if it is a black color, there are color variants in that as well. The pupil of the eye color, and also the lotus black color, we differentiate in such manner. So that also determines the load bearing capability of the temple. Then comes the bricks. So bricks is also called ishtaka kind of materials in those days. Uh, 9 to 26 inches of bricks are specially curated and created for the temple construction. It goes up to 31 inches. So even there we can have the gender which is being created in those days. It will be mixed with a, there are Vedas in Shulva Sutra. There will be a text like 22.8 into 11 into 47 will be the measurement of the brick should be there to construct a temple. So there are measurements which will be created while it should baked for 24 hours, and products like oil, iron flakes will be mixed to increase the strength of the brick. The taper kind of, which will be the straight kind of bricks, are called male bricks, and also the thicker ones are called the female bricks, which is basically chosen for the female deity temples and the male deity temples. So these are the different types of bricks being used, and the significance is also the ability to withstand the climatic conditions and also the load of the entire temple. Then comes the wood. Wood predominantly in South Indian. There are in Kerala. There are mostly wooden related temples. Woodwork will be the predominant work around the temple. So in Stapana Brahmana, a Vedic text, there are pillars, shilpas, and roofs being created in the wooden temples. So there are certain woods which will choose us for the pillars, for roofs separately, and for the shilpas separately. Woods like sandalwood, rosewood will be of much more good for the intricate carvings of the shilpas. So idols can be carved out of those. Then for the roofs, neem and the jackfruit kind of, which is panasha, wood named as. So those are good for the roofing of the temples. And then comes the pillars, which is of kadi and shal, all the teak, or which comes for the pillars, which basically bear the good amount of load of the entire temple. Then comes the chariots. So chariots is nothing but the typical representation of your Garbhagraha plus Vimana together. So if the deity is chariots and rathas is basically the representation of kings who go around the city, and their depiction of different forces which they have. different padai, we say. So different postures. That will be the depiction of chariots on those days. It is typically the Garbhagriha and the deity base part, the Garbhagriha part, and then the Adhishtanam part, Garbhagriha part, and the Vimanam part will be the structure of the chariot also. If you're creating a chariot for your temple in a main deity, so how this, what are the carvings used for this Garbhagriha, Vimana, and the Adhishtanam will be similar to the chariot as well. So those are the types of chariot which we are using. Wooden chariots are the predominant ones. Stone chariots are the most heaviest and the ancient type of chariot. So they have used sandstone, which will be easy to drag and take it around while taking the deity around the city. So it's then, for example, this Pancharathas, it's an interesting story of the Mahabharata depiction. So chariots, like just like Hampi temples, Mahabalipuram has the Pancharathas, which is actually the temples built in the form of chariots itself. So it does the representation of it tells the story of entire Mahabharata, or Dharmaraja Ratha, Bhima Ratha, Arjuna Ratha, Draupadi Ratha, Nakula and Shahadeva Ratha, or the different Rathas and temples. For example, for Draupadi Ratha, there will be a Kali depicted over there. So this is how the ancient uh, kings represented their chariots and rathas in terms of temples. And then, for example, the Stanchur temple chariot will be the depiction of their all the carvings which is there in the three-tier Vimanatala, which is explaining the Saivism, will be also depicted there in the chariot. Nellayappar temple in Tirunelveli will also have the similar kind of depiction. So when you compare the chariots and the Garbhagriha and Vimana, it will be of similar carvings and the representation. So it's just a vehicle representation of the deity. That's all about the chariots. When it comes to the tradition and technology nowadays, nowadays the stones which is being used for the temple architecture bears a lot more of weight, and as that's there is no kind of quality as since in the ancient times because of the corrosion, and there are blotches, lines, etc. So there comes the technology where we kind of mix, for example, while we coming to the brick wall construction, we are mixing the iron flakes in the ancient days, oil, etc., to make the strength of the temple architecture, right? Similarly, nowadays the concrete is mixed with the glass fiber reinforced concrete, which is called the GFRC methods. So these will also give you the durability as similar to the stone kind of buildings, but it is not as heavy as the stones. And the curing time of the carving time and the curing time of the entire temple architecture comes down drastically. In that way, it is time efficient, etc. And even the intricate carvings can be brought out exactly as the depiction of ancient temples, because the mold has been, or the drawings has been taken from the ancient temple as of whenever you want. So, and the desired textures, like the different colors of the stone, can also be recreated in this kind of technology with the unique proportion of the mixtures. So this is how the technology helps in renovation of the temples and saving the traditions. So this is a huge topic, which is the significance of Sthalam, but I just touched each topics predominantly. If you have any questions, you can always mail me in the mail ID which I've shared here. And any questions, you can post it on comment. I can pick it up and answer it later. I will be really glad to explore with you guys.
Thank you, Samvardhini, for a very nice presentation. And you really took us, it was like a tour which demonstrating the ancient way of structure of a temple to the futuristic model to be built, the temple structures. So a complete insight was given, and of course, it is every one of us have to, ensure uh, to maintain our tradition. Whether we build a temple based on the ancient method, or you explained a different kind of structure, whether it's a stone structure or wooden structure, or again in stone structure, you explained about various type of stones and things like that. It was nice to hear about it. I think we will come back to you on questions after we complete the another topic also, which is very important in our tradition. So now let us look at the other aspect of our this particular session, which is Tirtha. And so if I have to give a very brief about it, Bhagavad Gita refers to four type of people who seek the supreme God for various purposes. So one is those who are distressed, people who are in distress. They seek to go to temple or any other such like Murti, Sthala, Tirtha, Vriksha and all. And those who seek or need prosperity or such other needs, personal needs. And there are some people who want to seek and enhance their knowledge, the Brahma Jnana. So that is one kind of like Atma Jnana, Parajnana, all those. They also want to know about, to learn about the Supreme Being. How do I connect myself with the Supreme Being? So those people also will come to these places. And lastly, the people who wanted the ultimate moksha or liberation, which is what our ultimate in our Hindu faith. So like this, people come to the temple, whether Sthala, Tirtha, Vriksha, for this kind of purpose. In fact, Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita again says the seekers are interested in God because they wish to get rid of the accumulated impurities. So we are also getting day by day, because of our karma, we get a lot of accumulated impurities. So devotion to the God, visiting to the shrine, participating in prayer services, and also to keep us away from the association of impurities uh, proactively. And so this method known to be the best mean for purification process. So it's our duty to hail these holy shrines, whether be it Murti, Sthala, Tirtha, or Vriksha, visit them, reap the benefit during this life period. We'll not have find time to do it after our later stage of or the last part of our life. We have to do it right now, at the earliest possible. So Tirtha Yatra becomes another important part in our dharma. That too, it has to be done at certain times, which are specified in our scriptures. One such things is what our Mahesh Shastri is going to talk about. Very important thing where people in mass go and take sacred water, sacred dip in rivers, which is popularly known as Kumbh Mela. Even though the Tirthas, we can talk a lot, like how Samvardhini was talking. So, Mahesh Shastri is the right person to talk on this aspect. And he is the Panchang Siddhanti of mypanchang.com. And he also helped us in preparing the North American Hindu Panchanga system, being released by us every English calendar year. He lives in greater Seattle area, and he is a learned scholar in Yajurveda, Dharma Shastra, and Vedic astrology of Krishnamurti Paddhati, and very well versed in Western technology. Now, I should say not Western, both Eastern and Western, global astrology. He is now making calendars for globally for the entire planet Earth. Over to Pandit Mahesh Shastri. We are very eager to hear from you on the significance and essential of Tirtha, specifically Tirtha Yatras and sacred dip in water bodies, specifically during a Mela period, whether it's Ardha Kumbha Mela or whatever, or Maha Kumbha Mela. And also you can emphasize on the recent Maha Kumbha Mela, a few words on it. Over to Mahesh Shastri.
Radhe Radhe. So we know that scientifically it's proved that Ganga water, the water from river Ganga doesn't become bad You can collect the water from any other river and it will become bad after some time. But Ganga water will not become bad. And it is a guarantee, it is kind of an evidence that no matter how many people bathe in the river Ganga, still it doesn't become bad. So, so that's why we say, whenever we say the Tirtha mantra, Ganga, Sindhu, Saraswati, Yamuna, Godavari, Narmada, Kaveri, Saryu, Mahendra Tanaya, Charmanyavati, Vedika, Chipra, Vetravati, Mahaswanati, Khyata, Gaya, Gandaki, Purna, Punajali, Samudra Sahitam, Kurya, Sada, Mangalam. And so today we are going to talk about Tirtham also, and starting with the Mahakumbh Mela. So let's share the slides. So we are going to talk about Mahakumbh Mela. So Mahakumbh Mela is very important because people, we knowingly or unknowingly commit lot of sins. Okay. So to remove the sin, we need to feel kind of a prayaschitta first in our heart. Without prayaschitta, it may not be helpful. But still, people go to Kumbh Mela to make sure that all of sin removed. And that's a faith, and that will help you. You should have a faith that going to Kumbh Mela or taking a bath in holy river, any holy river, will remove your sin. And with that faith, people go there. Now there is an astrological significance also behind it, because the Mahakumbh Mela, also named because we recently had Mahakumbh Mela. Some people say that Kumbh Mela is renamed as Mahakumbh Mela, and then Ardha Kumbh Mela is Kumbh Mela. But without going into those details, we just talk astrologically. So the Mahakumbh Mela, also known as the Kumbh Mela, is a Hindu pilgrimage and festival of immense spiritual significance. See, remember, when once horoscope, the 12th house is activated, then one will visit all the Tirtha Kshetra and temples. So, so that is one of the astrological significance. So, as far as your horoscope is concerned, whether you will be visiting the Tirtha Kshetra or not, the big Kumbh Mela, one should check your 12th house. And it is the largest and most significant of all Kumbh Melas, held approximately 144 years in Prayagraj, or formerly Allahabad in Uttar Pradesh, India. The 2025 Mahakumbh Mela was recently held from January 13 to February 26, 2025. We'll also see the rules, astrological rules of determining the date. Occurs every 144 years at Prayagraj. This timing is determined a unique, rare astrological configuration of the planet, making it particularly auspicious. So the regular Kumbh Mela takes place every 12 years, rotating between Prayagraj, Haridwar, Nasik, and Ujjain. So when all those, when it rotates, so 12, after 12 Kumbh Melas, the 144 years will become, it will be the Mahakumbh Mela. So that was the one of the significance. And Prayagraj significance is because especially sacred as its Triveni Sangam. It's confluence of three holy rivers. It's what we call as the Triveni Sangam. Ganga, definitely Yamuna, and Saraswati. The meeting point is considered exceptionally potent for spiritual purification. Even somebody passes away, and to immerse their remains of the whatever that is, that after doing Agnida, we go to the Triveni Sangam because it is a meeting point. So that gives definitely the moksha. So the significance and beliefs of the Kumbh Mela, it will give you spiritual cleansing. Millions of devotees gather to take a holy dip in sacred waters of the Sangam. When we refer Sangam, it's a Triveni Sangam, like Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati. It is believed that the bathing of this auspicious time cleans one of sins and helps attain moksha. The liberation from cycles of birth and death. And we keep doing karma. I mean, that it is very really difficult to get out of the vicious circle of, rebirth. So one needs to have a bhakti and going to this sacred places. And if you can visit your local temple also, largest peaceful gathering, the Kumbh Mela, especially the Mahakumbh Mela, is considered the largest peaceful gathering of humanity on earth. It attracts ascetics, saints, sadhus, and pilgrims from all walks of life. People have gone from various parts like United States, Australia. I have seen those videos. So it is one of the really important one. And astrological importance, the timing of Mahakumbh Mela is deeply rooted in Hindu astrology. Although the timing are set by the Akhada committee, but the specific alignment of Sun, Moon, and Jupiter believed to create a powerful spiritual energy. The 225 Mahakumbh Mela was considered unique due to constellation alignment, witnessed once in 144 years. So 144 years. Now, what is the origin? We all know the Samudra Manthan. So first was poison Lord Shiva drank, and then at the end came the nectar, what we call Amrita, and then the gods and demons started to fight, and then the drops fell in the four places. So that's why the Mahakumbh Mela or Kumbh Mela is celebrated in those four places. So that is to do with because the drops of this nectar fell at the four Kumbh Mela sites. The 2025 Mahakumbh Mela in Prayagraj was astrologically significant due to combination of specifically planetary alignments. Some were considered rare. So here is the breakdown. So Jupiter in Taurus, Sun and Moon in Capricorn. That is the specific alignment where during Sankranti that it kicks off the Mahakumbh Mela on the January 13, 2025. It did kicked off. The combination is considered highly auspicious for spiritual growth, and that's a combination. The Prayagraj Kumbh Mela is celebrated for growth and stability. The Sun's transit into Capricorn, Uttarayan. Technically, Uttarayan is not the Sun's transit into Nirayana Capricorn, but Sayana Capricorn. But we will talk some other time. Is also seen as the renewal of spiritual energies. Sun in the Saturn in Aquarius and in Nakshatra Pushya. So Pushya is also very, very auspicious. In Punjabi or North India, it is also known as the Pukh, is aligned. This was another significant alignment present at the beginning of the Mela. Saturn in Aquarius is associated with humanitarian pursuits and social responsibility, while Pushya Nakshatra is considered highly auspicious and nurturing. So that's why we have a Guru Pushyamrita Yoga, if you guys remember astrologically. Rare visibility of 7 planets. Now, this was a really important one. So we do not consider the Vedic astrology Uranus and Neptune, but towards the end of the Mahakumbh Mela, particularly around February 28, 2025, all 7 planets of our solar system, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, were visible in the night sky. Usually, there will be a Madhyami or Asta, what we call, of one of these planets, but we all were visible. So that makes it very special. While the term planetary alignment does not have a strict scientific definition in this context, but simultaneous visibility of these planets is a rare and fascinating celestial event. Many spiritual believers consider such cosmic occurrences to enhance spiritual energy and divine consciousness. Now, planetary shifts on Mahashivratri. The last this will always end on Mahashivratri day, or there is a different calculation also, but mostly on Mahashivratri day. So on February 26, 2025 in India, it fell on that day. Also had a notable planetary position. The Moon, Mercury, Sun, and Saturn were in Aquarius, while Venus and Rahu were in Pisces. See, Venus and Rahu were in Pisces, and Saturn was in Aquarius. So Aquarius Pisces becomes a mala. And Moon, Mercury, Saturn also was along with, they were all in Aquarius, where as Jupiter remained in Taurus and Mars in Gemini, another mala. So astrologer believes this alignment would help reduce negative energy influences and bring peace and harmony. See, whenever one of the planet is Asta, so their cosmic rays do not hit Earth, do not reach Earth. So that means uh, we do not get any favors from that. So that's why whenever there is a Guru Asta or Shukra Asta or Guru Madhyami, Shukra Madhyami, we do not do any auspicious ceremonies like wedding, Upanayanam, or certain rituals or Graha Pravesham. So Jupiter Sun conjunction in Aquarius throughout the period of the Mahakumbh Mela, the transit of Jupiter. Sorry, here is the typo. The transit of Jupiter was in Taurus along with Saturn transit in along with Sun transit in Capricorn and Saturn transit in Aquarius and Sun in Capricorn. Yes. So Sun in Capricorn, Jupiter in in Taurus, that is Vrishabha, and Saturn was in Aquarius. Along with Sun transit to Capricorn and then Aquarius was a central celestial astrological theme. This conjunction is believed to signify enlightenment, transformation, and purification, amplifying the spiritual energy of the festival. So, Sun in Capricorn, Jupiter in Taurus, and Saturn in Aquarius, and Rahu was in Pisces, and Mars was in Gemini. So, observation time. Kumbh Mela was observed. Usually these are the astrological rules, basically. So when Jupiter is in Taurus and Sun and Moon are in Capricorn, usually in January. So and on the Maghi Amavasya usually will begin and ends on Mahashivratri. So that is the rule for Prayagraj. After four such Prayagraj, the fifth one will become Mahakumbh Mela. Haridwar, when Jupiter is in Aquarius and Saturn in Aries, usually March, April, because Sun will be in Aries in April. And when Sun enters Vrishab, which is like 14th May around, because Sun enters Aries on 14th of April. The Nashik one, when the Jupiter is in Leo, Sinhastha, it is popularly known as the Sinhastha, and Sun is in Simha Rashi. Both has to be Sinhastha. Ends on Vamana Dwadashi, or till Sun is in Simha. That is decided by the Akhada Samiti. Ujjain, Chaitra Purnima, when Jupiter is in Leo and Sun is in Aries, ends on Vaishakha Purnima. So it begins on Chaitra Purnima when Jupiter is in Leo and ends on Vaishakha Purnima. And there are other Kumbh Mela, like which is held at every 6 years, midway between the Purna Kumbha Mela, like especially in Prayagraj when Jupiter is in Vrashika, and in Nasik Jupiter is in Leo and Sun is in Aries. So that will be Ardha Kumbha. So the bathing in these special places will help you to reduce your sins. So don't think just because you had just recently bath in Prayagraj, so you do not have to do any other. You can, because we keep committing the crimes, we keep doing our karmas, even we walk, that is one of the karma. So thank you for listening to me. And I would like to thank Ravi Shivacharya also giving me this opportunity to explain this Maha Kumbh Mela and Tirtham. The only thing I would say is every Tirtham is very important. Please visit every Tirtham. Even when you you go to the Pradosha Rudrabhishekam, the tirtham that falls, that also is very auspicious. That will also remove a lot of sin. Likewise, for doing a Vishnu Abhishekam, that tirtham that comes, that will also remove all your sins. So tirthams are very important. And if you have a question, please contact your temple or NY temple, Ravi Shivacharya, he will guide you.
Yeah. Thank you, Pandit Mahesh Shastri ji, for your very good presentation, which had lots of astronomical workings. So a lot of people have started understanding about various zodiac signs and its movements and its positions and the significance of the combinations of various alignment of various grahas and things like that are being observed nowadays globally. And of course, as Mahesh Shastri was saying, the Tirtham is very important in our tradition and culture. Whether in temple they offer Tirtham to sip it or prokshanam it, or you do Abhishekam, or you go to Tirtha Yatras, like we go to temple as different kind of parikramas. Tirtha Yatra is another kind of parikramas to have a dip. Not only even during the ancestor rituals, people go and drop ash in various rivers. And every Diwali, there is a Ganga Snana is being taken. So we will talk about
So I have a
various.
one question to
Uh,
Ravi,
uh,
because in North India we always do prokshanam of the Shiva's tirtham.
yes,
Is
yes,
it the thing also in the Shiva Agama in Tamil,
yes, yes,
or
yes.
you can consume it?
When now one is Tirtham to be consumed in Shaiva, it will be Tirtham with Vilva Patra soaked in it. In Vishnu Sanadi, it will be the Tulasi Patram soaked into it. So whether you have a Tulasi Tirtham or Vilva Tirtham, if you go to Devi Sannadis, there will be what is that? The what they call it as margos or the vepilai, they say. So that will be soaked into the water and then it is taken. All have got a medicinal um, power in it. So it has got curing effect. So that is one thing. It was very really interesting to listen both the speakers, and they explained us on various ways that one is in terms of how a temple is built, in the significance of its sculptures or style of construction and materials used in different kind of construction, the architectural marvels, not only the temples, even a moving temple. I'll call it as a what, Ratha. So Samvardhini was explaining about how even Ratha also reflect a kind of temple, because it also has got a Shikara, a Vimana, and everything. Only thing is it's a Jangama or moving, mobile. It's a mobile temple. That's why we call it as a Utsava. Utuhu Savam iti Utsavam. So the temple which is going across the road to bless people directly to their home. So it's like a home delivery of blessings by the temples. So that kind of structures and style of construction materials used, or whether it is in stone of different kinds or wood of different kinds or even brick for that, and especially the bricks specifically of different sizes are used for construction. And now she has spoken up to the current technological thing, and for all, just for all this thing, what we are talking is to just have a mere glimpse of the Lord at a temple. You just see how much we are doing in terms of to so that we get a mental satisfaction, to get the cosmic energy, how it radiates without much effort done by us. We have to simply go and have a glimpse, just to look at the temple, enter into the vicinity of the temple to feel the vibration of the uh, thing from the all the sacred bodies, whether be it temple or be it taking a dip in the sacred water, or to do a parikrama across various murtis, sthala, vriksha, all those things. And it reminds me, my guru's talking about Andam and Pindam. It says in Tamil, Andam is nothing but the universe. Universe can be uh,
Hiranyagarbha.
perceived by a Pindam. Every
Yes.
object in the earth can reflect or radiate the energy of the Supreme. So we know that, and In fact, in the Bharat, right from we call it as also Hima Setu, from Himalaya to Setu Samudram. But now across the globe, we have this cosmic energy is being spread. Every tirtha or water is treated as an Amrita Tirtha or the nectar, as Mahesh Shastri ji was referring it. And we were actually really blessed to today for having gained a lot of knowledge on the faith that we belong to, and how our faith and our tradition and culture is nowadays being customized and tailor-made for every other faith is now trying to adapt our faith, because they know it is more valid, more scientific, more adaptable, and it's more flexible and more inclusive kind of this thing. And I'm not sure we will be able to take up any questions right now.
I
Anyway,
just have one question for her.
that's okay. I think we can. We will. Okay, there is one question. The Ellora temple, that Kailasha temple. What
That was
type
my
of,
question.
whether it is Vesara or what type of construction? Of course, there are some cave temples also, and so many such. There are places where it is a natural. We were told that aliens came down to the earth and built out of nothing. We do not
That
know.
Suyambhu count of rock cut
Swayambhu,
temples
yes,
have been
yes.
created. So
It's
that
by
is what,
nature.
yeah, by
Yeah,
nature itself, due to natural calamities,
yes,
there are certain figurines and structures
yeah,
formed in the rocks and the
yes,
woods. So that is
yes,
called as a Suyambhus.
yeah, yeah.
So it will,
You are right. Like somebody says, even in trees, suddenly you will find some form
yes.
established in wood or a tree or in forest, or similarly in the rock stone where human cannot reach, but you have
True.
some structure with a naturally formed structure. Those things are called and can be categorized as a Swayambhu Murtis. That's
Suyambhu
why
kind of.
Murti has a very important significance, not only the man-made structure, it is also the
True.
nature-made structures are also
Nature
very
made
important.
structures which
Okay.
create a
Kailasa is
form.
one monolithic, one created, and many people are really interested in, very curious how much time it would have taken. I was just always
True, true.
curious what kind of architecture was that.
Yeah, in US we used to see in the desert of Arizona, where naturally the Sri Chakra Yantra formation has
Yeah.
happened.
Heard about it.
So, which was actually captured from the space. Nobody knows who went there and how they designed this
Mark the
Sri
Sri
Chakra
Chakra.
Yantra. So, like this, there are a lot of places we see also a marvel. That's why I said it's a Swayambhu Murti. Murti is very important. The nature formed Murtis are also important.
Murtis and Shilpa Shastra is again a different interesting subject
Yes,
altogether.
yeah. So we will touch upon each of this maybe in the future learning series, and
True, true.
we
Shilpa
were really
Shastra is a
blessed.
great topic again.
Yeah, yeah,
And we predominantly talk about north, south, and central kind of temple architecture, but there are fusions. There are
yeah,
mixture of Vesara and the Nagara also. There are
yeah,
fusions of Vesara and Dravidian also. As
yeah,
per the regions, there are kind of fusion. So
yeah,
for me, if I live in a border of Kerala and Tamil Nadu, I will build a home which has
yeah,
the impacts of Kerala architecture, also the Tamil architecture,
yeah.
right? That is how the fusion of temple architecture also varies.
Okay.
So
So
predominantly these are the three one
yeah, it's a blend between various
various
uh,
regions and cultures.
regions, cultures, technology, everything.
True,
The
true.
things like. So we are
Availability
really
of the
blessed.
materials.
All of us were really blessed, and all the viewers are blessed for having gained good knowledge on the faith that we belong to. We feel proud of it, and we look forward to see again in the next and the future sessions more on these kind of subjects. We will see all the same guests will come again, and we will touch upon various subjects, and we will to. Um, I hope all of you will also gain knowledge in our ancient tradition and culture. With this, let me thank all the viewers and the guest speakers who were really taken their time and came to us, and then and blessed all of us. We'll meet you again the next session, future sessions. Thank you, and namaskaram
Thank
and
you.
namaste to all of
Thank
you.
you. Right.
Radhe, Radhe.